You don't need to have tonight figured out. You don't need to know what comes next. You don't need to solve anything before you rest. For now, it's enough to arrive here, to let the day loosen its hold. If you're listening in the quiet, allow the room around you to fade. The light, the edges, the sense of time moving forward. There is nothing you need to prepare for in this moment, nothing you need to be ready for. You're allowed to pause, allowed to stop asking yourself questions, allowed to set the future down for the night. Take a slow breath in, not deep, just easy, and let it go. Another breath, in and out. There is a particular pressure that shows up at night, a quiet insistence, a feeling that you should be using this time to think, to plan, to fix, to finally understand what you haven't understood yet. The mind often believes that if it stays alert long enough, something will click, that certainty will arrive. But certainty doesn't come from pressure, and rest doesn't require answers. Tonight, you are allowed to stop searching, allowed to stop rehearsing tomorrow. Before we go any further, a gentle invitation. If tonight feels uncertain, or heavy, or unfinished, you're welcome to leave a comment with where you're at right now. It doesn't need to be detailed. Even a word is enough. A lot of people listening are in a similar place, quietly carrying things they don't talk about. And if you want to return to these moments of calm, you're welcome to stay with this space. No urgency, just something steady to come back to. There is nothing wrong with you for not having answers. Nothing broken about feeling unsure. Some seasons are not meant to be solved. They are meant to be lived through gently. The idea that you should always know what you're doing is learned. It's not natural. Human beings are not designed for constant clarity. We are designed for rhythm, for movement and rest. Tonight is for rest, not the kind you earn, but the kind you allow. If thoughts keep returning, notice them without following. You don't need to push them away. Let them pass, like sounds from another room. You are not falling behind. You are not wasting time. You are learning how to exist without forcing direction. And that is a skill most people never practice. For now, stay here. Let the pace slow. Nothing else is required. You can let your breathing settle into its own rhythm. There is no need to guide it, no need to improve it. Your body already knows how to rest. Sometimes it just needs permission. There's a quiet exhaustion that comes from always needing to know, from feeling responsible for the future, from carrying tomorrow into tonight. That kind of tiredness doesn't show up in the muscles. It settles deeper, in the chest, in the jaw, in the way your thoughts refuse to slow. You might notice yourself replaying conversations, rewriting decisions, trying to anticipate outcomes. This isn't a flaw. It's a habit formed from caring. But caring does not mean you have to stay alert all night. It does not mean you have to stay on watch.
Your mind keeps trying to solve a problem that doesn't have an answer yet. This is why you can feel exhausted, even when you're not doing much. Why rest doesn't feel restorative. Why focus feels slippery. You're not lazy. You're recalibrating, whether you realize it or not. This phase often feels worse than the collapse itself. During the collapse, there's momentum, emotion, a sense of movement, even if it's painful. Afterward, there's ambiguity, and ambiguity is hard for the human brain, especially for people who learn to measure themselves by progress. You might replay decisions late at night, wonder where things went wrong, imagine alternate timelines, try to extract a lesson that will make it all make sense. That urge is understandable, but this phase isn't about understanding yet. It's about stabilizing. When the life you plan disappears, the first task isn't reinvention, it's containment. Learning how to live inside uncertainty without forcing answers, without panicking, without rushing yourself into a new identity just to escape discomfort. This usually means life gets smaller for a while, less impressive, less ambitious, less visible, and that can feel uncomfortable in a world that rewards constant movement. But smaller isn't regression, it's consolidation. It's your system settling after impact. You don't rebuild a structure while it's still shaking. You wait for it to stabilize. This phase is the stabilization, and it doesn't announce itself. There are no milestones, no applause, no clear sense of progress. Just ordinary days, sometimes dull, sometimes heavy, sometimes strangely calm, which can feel unfamiliar at first. You might worry that your drive is gone for good, that the spark won't come back, that this muted version of yourself is permanent. But drive doesn't disappear. It goes dormant when it doesn't have a safe direction to move in. Once stability returns, momentum follows naturally, but stability comes first. That means routines without ambition, habits without transformation narratives, showing up without demanding growth, eating regularly, sleeping consistently, moving your body gently, keeping promises small enough that you can keep them. This isn't the comeback story people like to tell. It's the quiet middle. And the quiet middle is where most real rebuilding happens. If you're in this phase, there is nothing wrong with you. You're not behind. You're not broken. You're not wasting time. You're learning how to exist without the map you used to rely on. That takes patience, and patience isn't passive. It's the decision not to rush yourself into a shape you're not ready to hold yet. Eventually, and usually without fanfare, something shifts. Not all at once, not dramatically. You wake up one day and notice your footing feels a little firmer. Your thoughts feel less frantic. Your days feel more contained. From there, direction begins to emerge. Not because you forced it, but because you made room for it. For now, it's enough to stay steady, to breathe, to let the old life finish dissolving without trying to replace it immediately. This moment isn't the end. It's the space between lives. And learning how to stand here calmly is a strength many people never develop. There is a moment most people spend their entire lives trying to avoid. It is the moment when nothing is distracting you. No phone, no noise, no rush. Just you, your thoughts, and that tight feeling in your chest you keep pushing away. We live in a world built to save us from that feeling. If you are uncomfortable, scroll. If you are bored, stream. If you are anxious, refresh. If you feel behind in life, compare yourself to someone doing better online. And every time you escape, it feels like relief. But it is not relief. It is delay. Discomfort is not the enemy. Avoidance is. Think about how often discomfort shows up in modern life. That unread email you know you should respond to. The gym membership you keep paying for but never use. The business idea sitting half written in your notes app. The conversation you keep rehearsing but never having. We do not fail because we are incapable. We fail because we refuse to stay present when things feel heavy. Sitting with discomfort does not mean suffering endlessly. It means allowing the feeling to exist without immediately trying to kill it. It means noticing the urge to escape and choosing not to. Most people think motivation creates action. In reality, tolerance creates action. The people you admire are not more confident than you. They are more willing to feel awkward, uncertain, and exposed. They learned to sit inside that feeling instead of running from it. Think about starting something new, posting your first video, applying for a job you think you might not get, walking into a gym when you feel out of shape. The discomfort is not a sign you are doing something wrong. It is proof you are doing something new. Your nervous system does not care about your goals. It cares about safety. And unfamiliar situations feel unsafe, even when they are good for you. So when your body tells you to stop, to quit, to scroll, to postpone, it is not wisdom. It is habit. Sitting with discomfort is a skill, and like any skill, it is trained. Start small. Sit for 5 minutes without your phone. Write one uncomfortable sentence. Have one honest conversation. Do one thing that makes your heart beat faster. You are not trying to eliminate discomfort. You are teaching yourself that you can survive it. And something strange happens when you stop running. The discomfort peaks. Then it fades. Not because you escaped,
but because your mind learned there was nothing to fear. This is how discipline is actually built. Not through hype, not through motivation, but through quiet tolerance. The life you want is on the other side of moments you currently avoid. The work, the growth, the confidence, all of it lives there. You do not need to fix your entire life today. You only need to stay present for the next uncomfortable moment. And when you do, even imperfectly, even briefly, you win. If this resonated with you, stay with it. Return to it. Practice it. Because learning to sit with discomfort is learning how to change your life. Most people never notice how fast they run from themselves. Not physically, mentally, emotionally. The moment something feels heavy, the instinct is to disappear into noise. Think about how often your hand reaches for your phone without thought. Standing in line, sitting in silence, lying in bed at night. That reflex is not weakness. It is conditioning. We trained ourselves to believe that stillness is dangerous. That if we stop moving, thinking, scrolling, producing, something uncomfortable will catch us. And it will. But not in the way you fear. Discomfort is not a monster. It is a signal. It is your mind saying, something here matters. Most people confuse discomfort with failure. If something feels hard, they assume they are doing it wrong. If anxiety shows up, they assume they are not ready. If doubt appears, they assume they should wait. But discomfort does not mean stop. It means stay. Look at modern life. People want confidence, but avoid embarrassment. They want success, but avoid uncertainty. They want connection, but avoid vulnerability. You cannot get the reward without touching the feeling. Think about sending a message you have rewritten 10 times. You know what you want to say, but your finger hovers. Your chest tightens. Your brain invents reasons to wait.
Modern life gives you endless ways to avoid yourself. Work notifications, streaming platforms, short videos, endless opinions. You can stay busy from the moment you wake up until the moment you fall asleep, and still never touch the thing that actually matters. Look at how people handle uncertainty today. When something feels unclear, they search for answers immediately. They watch another video, read another post, ask 10 people for advice. Information becomes a form of hiding. Instead of sitting with not knowing, we try to solve discomfort with more input. But clarity rarely comes from more noise. It comes from staying present long enough to hear what you already know. Think about careers. People stay in jobs they quietly resent because the discomfort of change feels worse than the discomfort of staying stuck. They scroll job listings. They daydream about different lives, but they never take the step. Not because they are lazy, because the space between now and then feels too uncomfortable to sit in. Relationships work the same way. Hard conversations are delayed. Feelings are softened. Truth is edited. People would rather slowly disconnect than risk one uncomfortable moment of honesty. Social media teaches performance, not presence. You learn how to look confident, successful, happy, without actually feeling any of it. And the more you perform, the harder it becomes to sit alone with yourself. Discomfort exposes what performance hides. That is why silence feels so loud. Notice how rare it is now to wait without stimulation. At a stoplight, in an elevator, in a waiting room. The phone comes out instantly. Not because you need it, because stillness feels unfamiliar. But stillness is where integration happens. Your mind needs space to process disappointment, grief, desire, and regret. When you deny that space, those feelings do not disappear. They leak out as irritability, as numbness, as quiet resentment. Learning to sit with discomfort is learning to let your internal world speak without interruption. This does not mean isolating yourself. It means stopping the constant escape. You start to notice patterns, why you procrastinate, why certain conversations scare you, why you avoid finishing things. And once you see the pattern, you gain choice. Most people live reactively. They move away from discomfort automatically. You are learning to pause, to feel the urge, to notice it, and to choose differently. That pause is power. This practice changes how you experience time. Moments slow down. Decisions feel clearer. You stop chasing certainty. You start trusting yourself. Not because you have all the answers, but because you know you can sit without them. This is how people build real confidence, not by eliminating fear, but by outlasting it. The world will keep offering distractions. That will not change. What can change is your relationship to discomfort. And when that shifts, everything else begins to follow. Modern society rewards speed, quick answers, quick reactions, quick success. There is very little patience for anything that unfolds slowly, especially internal growth. When progress is not visible, people assume it is not happening. This is why sitting with discomfort feels pointless at first. There is nothing to show, no metric, no applause. But the most important changes happen quietly. Think about how people consume content now. Short clips, fast cuts, immediate payoff. Attention spans are shrinking, but emotional demands are growing. People feel overwhelmed, yet they never slow down enough to understand why. Discomfort holds information. It tells you what you care about, what you are afraid to lose, what you are avoiding becoming. But if you drown it out with noise, you never receive the message. Consider money. Many people avoid looking at their bank accounts, not because the numbers are confusing, but because they trigger shame. So they delay, they distract, they promise to deal with it later. That avoidance costs more than the truth ever would. The same is true with health. People avoid checkups, avoid mirrors, avoid slowing down long enough to notice warning signs. Discomfort is often the first signal. When you learn to stay present with it, you give yourself a chance to respond early, instead of reacting when things collapse. There is also emotional discomfort, the kind that shows up as loneliness, even when you are surrounded by people. Modern connection is constant, but intimacy is rare. We message constantly, but we avoid saying what actually matters. Sitting with discomfort means admitting when something is missing. That admission can feel terrifying, but it is also honest. Honesty creates alignment. When your actions match your inner reality, life becomes simpler. Not easier, simpler. You stop negotiating with yourself. This practice also changes how you handle failure. Instead of immediately numbing disappointment, you let it exist. You notice the stories you tell yourself, the urge to quit, the impulse to blame, and you stay anyway. That staying rewires trust. You begin to trust that you can feel deeply without breaking. This is what emotional strength actually looks like. Not toughness, not suppression, but capacity. Capacity to feel, capacity to pause, capacity to choose. The world will keep pulling at your attention. That pressure will not disappear, but you are learning something rare. You are learning how to stay. If you look back a few generations, life was uncomfortable by default. There was no constant escape, no endless entertainment, no instant relief. People waited, they endured, they sat with uncertainty because there was no alternative. If you were bored, you stayed bored. If you were anxious, there was no feed to refresh, no video to autoplay, no algorithm designed to soothe you. Discomfort had room to breathe. Think about early mornings decades ago. Men and women woke before sunrise, not because it was motivating, but because it was required. Work was physical. Progress was slow. Results took time. There was no illusion of instant transformation. If something broke, you fixed it. If a relationship struggled, you talked. If you failed, you felt it fully, then kept going. Silence was common. Waiting was normal. Long walks, quiet evenings, hours without stimulation. People spent more time inside their own thoughts, for better or worse. They did not always like it, but they were familiar with it. Compare that to modern life. Today, discomfort feels optional, and because it feels optional, it feels intolerable. Modern man is not weaker. He is overstimulated. The nervous system is constantly activated, but rarely resolved. Back then, stress came in waves, hard seasons, busy days, moments of rest. Now stress is ambient, always on, always humming in the background. Earlier generations waited for letters, days, weeks. They sat with not knowing. Now a delayed response feels personal. Impatience has replaced tolerance. People once built confidence through repetition, doing the same hard thing every day. Modern confidence is often cosmetic, curated, filtered, performed. Back then, identity was shaped by responsibility. Now, identity is shaped by comparison. But the human nervous system has not changed. It still adapts through exposure. It still grows through endurance. The skills that built resilience in the past still work today. The difference is, you must choose them deliberately. Learning to sit with discomfort is not new. It is a return, a remembering, a reclaiming of something modern life forgot. As we slow this down, there is nothing you need to do right now, nothing to solve, nothing to fix, nothing to become. Just notice where you are. Notice your breathing. Not change it. Just notice it. Notice the space around you, the quiet, the stillness underneath the noise. This is what sitting with discomfort really looks like. Not tension, not force, but presence. You have spent a long time moving, reacting, adjusting, holding yourself together. It makes sense that slowing down feels unfamiliar. Your mind may want to wander, to plan, to replay, to escape. Let it, and when you notice it drifting, gently return to this moment. There is nothing wrong with the thoughts that come up. They are not interruptions. They are visitors. You do not need to entertain them. You do not need to push them away. Let them pass like weather. Discomfort often softens when it is no longer resisted. You may notice sensations in your body, tightness, warmth, restlessness. Stay with them. They are not asking to be solved. They are asking to be felt. For much of your life, you learn to override these signals, to stay busy, to stay productive, to stay distracted. This moment is different. Here, you are allowed to simply be. There is strength in this stillness, not the kind that performs, but the kind that endures. You are practicing something ancient, something human, and you do not need to rush it. As you stay here a little longer, you may notice something subtle. The discomfort that once felt sharp no longer needs your full attention. It has not disappeared. It has settled. This is what happens when you stop fighting your inner experience. The mind relaxes its grip. The body remembers how to rest. There is nothing fragile about this. You are not avoiding life. You are preparing to meet it. Stillness does not make you passive. It makes you clear. From this place, you do not need urgency. You do not need pressure. You move when it is time to move. And when discomfort returns, as it always does, you will recognize it, not as a threat, but as a familiar signal, a reminder that something meaningful is near. You do not need to remember every word from this. You only need to remember the feeling that you can pause, that you can stay, that you can trust yourself to remain present, even when things feel uncertain. Carry this with you quietly, into your work, into your conversations, into the moments you once rushed past. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are learning a skill that few people ever practice, and you can return to it whenever you need. There is nothing more to add.